to the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm Alicia Haygood. We are going to be talking to an amazing organization today called Helping Hands for Single Moms. Their fundraiser is coming up. They do an amazing roast of some of our former Suns players, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, one of our favorite guests, Sean Shackleton, the Shackleton Real Estate Group. We're taping a little bit before this airs, so we're not going to talk about the Fed rate, but there is a meeting coming up.
Next week.
Okay. What are get that glass ball out. We talk about this every time.
I know.
What are predictions? What are the rumors? What's the World Wide Web saying out there?
Yeah, the interwebs.
The interwebs. The dark web.
Well,
the Twitter world.
Most people are saying that the Fed funds rate is going to be lowered when they meet. Okay. I think the CPI just came out today at 2.5%. So
what's the CPI rate?
The CPI is what he kept saying. We need to get that to 2%.
Okay.
Before he can start lowering, but it's at 2.5%. And with the most recent kind of we actually lost 800,000 jobs. So our jobs report wasn't as great as it was made to be.
I did hear that.
I think that they're realizing like they need to make a shift right now so that other things don't start happening. And so the overall thought is that it will be lowered. It probably won't be lowered by a ton, maybe a half a point. But again, that's all speculation. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Yeah. So from there, everyone anticipates that the interest rates, mortgage interest rates will start to also go down. Our interest rates have already started kind of going down. Yeah. But the big thing is, it's funny, I've been talking to my lenders a lot lately, and although the interest rates, if you go online, it looks like they've come down. It's really individual, right? I mean, it's dependent upon your credit rating. It's dependent upon your debt to income ratio. It's dependent on so many things. So, I mean, it's good. It's going in the right direction, but is it plummeting for everyone? Like if you go online, it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's at a case-by-case basis for sure.
But it's not going to plummet down, and people need to understand that.
Well, and that's the thing too. People keep thinking, we need to get interest rates back to where it was. We're never going to get to 3%. We're never going to get to 2.5%, 2.75, which is where we were, for a little while. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. Could we get there someday? We could. I mean, I never say never. But I mean, is it going to happen in the next 10 years? Very, very likely. Is it going to happen in the next 20 years? Probably not.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, they never expected it to begin with. So you never say never.
Right.
We're hitting here. It's mid-September. What is the season about to start for us and stuff like that? What are we looking at right now? And what does that kind of look like for us?
Well, it's funny because in my neighborhood, in the last week, I've seen 2 car transports. Oh. Which is always my telltale sign that the snowbirds are coming back.
Yes, they are.
So
I saw one on the road down coming to the podcast today.
Yeah, these were parked, and my kids were even like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Well, that just means people are coming back to Arizona because our weather's about to be perfect, right?" So it's normal. This is kind of the end of September, beginning of October. We start to see more of the snowbirds come back. Mm-hmm. We start to see more people start to come into town when the weather starts to change. I mean, our weather really doesn't break that 100-degree temperature, high 90s, unfortunately, until like after after Halloween.
Yeah.
But I mean, we do start to have bigger temperature swings. Like it's cooler in the morning, so you'll start seeing a lot more people out in the morning, but it still gets hot in the afternoon. So we're starting to see that happen, which means for me, I always tell sellers, especially right now, when they go, well, I want to wait until the season hits. Don't wait. Do it now, because you will not be competing against all the others that are waiting.
Like you're going to stand out right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So have a better chance of selling at your rate and right now.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Especially if you have a great house,
What does the Scottsdale market look like right now with the houses, available compared to the buyers and sellers?
So overall, the Phoenix market right now, we're in a pretty balanced market. Okay. But then you have to, again, like we talk about all the time, you have to drill down to every city. Scottsdale's in a seller's market. Is it in a massively big seller's market? No.
Okay.
No. It's in a slight seller's market. So again, if you have a home that's in a great location with a view, with all the finishes that are updated, is it going to sell quickly? Yeah. Especially if you price it really, really well. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you have to underprice your house. You don't. But if you price it really well, it's going to sell. I mean, I've got buyers I can't find houses for. And I have one buyer, it's been a year. October will be a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just tough. I mean, he's got some stipulations that are really specific.
It has to be for a year.
Yeah. But still, I mean, there's there's just still not a ton of inventory. I was talking to another client, and I sent her like 9 houses to see. And she said, well, I feel like I need to broaden what I'm looking for because you only sent me 9. And I said, okay, let me set some expectations here, because normally I'm sending 2, maybe 3. So 9 is fantastic.
Yeah.
You have a lot to look at with 9. So, I mean, again, it's just educating buyers and sellers about what the market really looks like. What are the buyers and sellers expecting?
Yeah.
I've had some buyers going into homes that, we get under contract, and the agent, before they accept the offer, would say to me, I want you to understand the seller is not going to make a bunch of massive repairs to this house.
Yeah.
So your buyer needs to understand that. And again, I have that conversation with my buyer, just say, look, this is what they're telling us. Does that mean you can't ask for them?
No,
absolutely
always
not.
ask, yeah.
But I want to set the expectation that if they don't do it, they kind of told us they weren't going to. So just know that going in, but let's see what we can do.
What's the rental market out there like?
Soft.
Okay.
Yeah, the rental market has softened because softened. Sorry, I think I don't know what I just said there. The rental market has softened, and it's because we've got more inventory on the market. And part of that reason was because those people that came in and they bought a bunch of short-term rentals.
Yep.
If the short-term rental market wasn't working for them and they had a lot of vacancies, then they started looking at maybe mid-term rentals.
Okay.
That wasn't working, they would go to long-term rentals. So that kind of flooded our rental market. And so now rentals are sitting on the market a little bit longer. People that wouldn't take dogs before, now they're having to take pets.
Yeah.
They're having to negotiate on their list price, their per month price.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's not that all of a sudden you can go out and a house that was listed at $3,000 a month you can get for $15,000. That's not what's happening. But there's a lot of rentals on the market right now.
Well, maybe they'll start selling or something.
Some people sell, but oftentimes, again, if it's a rental and it hasn't been updated, that's the rub, right?
Yep.
So the sellers are like, well, I still want to maybe I'll sell it. They put it on the market and they think, well, it's going to sell because you're telling me that our inventory is low. But the problem is you haven't done any updates to it. Maybe it's in a great location, but the updates still need to happen, and buyers are not willing to pay top dollar for a house that they need to put in a bunch of money.
Agreed. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, as you hear, Shawn always knows what's going on, so go check her out at shackletongroup.com. She has an amazing YouTube channel as well, so find her on there. She does great videos of informational, teaching you about the area as far as the market and all of that, so go check her out. Thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
Always checking in with us and taking care of us and everything in between. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Helping Hands for Single Moms.
Buying a home can be scary and sometimes frustrating, but all of that can go away with the right realtor. And that's where Shawn Shackleton with the Shackleton Group is here for you. Shawn has over 25 years experience in real estate. She's here to get you what you want and won't settle for less. She's experienced, knowledgeable, and understands this market, which these days is always changing. Take the stress out of your next home purchase by calling Shawn at 480-734-7277. You can also find her at theshackletongroup.com. It's 2001, and Chris Coffman was tasked from his ministry to drive around town and look for a community's needs. While driving around a low-income community and praying for guidance, Chris saw a little boy walking on the sidewalk alone. He quickly pulled over and asked the boy where he lived, in which Chris proceeded to take the boy home safely. When they got home, his older sister, who wasn't much older, only around the age of 10, opened the door, and Chris kindly asked, "Is this your little brother?" And she responded with a yes, at which point he asked her, "Are you babysitting him?" And she said yes. When Chris asked where her mother was, she responded that she was sleeping in the back room. As he left this little boy with his sister and mother sleeping, he got to his car, trying to think again of what he could do when this idea came to mind. And that's where Helping Hands for Single Moms has started. And I just am so excited to learn about what this is about, how we're going to give back to our community and more. It helps provide scholarships and services to low-income single moms and their families so they can get their education and succeed. We're also want to hear how Eddie Johnson, former NBA player and current Suns play-by-play announcer, got involved with Chris and how they got connected, where they quickly got on board thinking of how they could have helped this mom growing up as he was raised by a single mom raising 7 kids on her own. So I'm so excited to introduce you today to Chris Coffman and Eddie Johnson to talk about the Helping Hands for Single Moms organization and this year's big gala and the roast of Suns player Shawn Marion. So Gentlemen, thank you so much for both of y'all being here today. I know you're very busy, so I just kind of want to get to it. Chris, let's start with you. We have the research. We all know it. College education people, they have more success. It helps get them out of poverty. You tend to make more money. So talk about how 23 years later, this organization's now in Phoenix and Dallas, and how does Helping Hands for Single Moms work?
Well, we're helping low-income single moms earn a college degree, and we will come alongside those moms and provide a $5,000 a year scholarship and supportive services, just to name a few. AAA towing, free auto repair. We have 27 shops, family outings, holiday gifts for the kids, single mom college communities. And since 2002, when we launched, we've helped 434 single moms earn a college degree.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, these are the kind of moms that work multiple jobs to barely put food on the table. Eddie, you grow up in some of the rougher streets of Chicago. Your mom was a single mom, one of 7 siblings. Eddie, talk to me about your childhood growing up and your mom raising these children for the positive outcome that she had on all of you. And what do you think that had an effect on her?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having us. It's always great to get a lot of help in the community in regards to our organization and where we're trying to go. Probably about 9 years. I've forgotten it so long now, but about 9 years ago, I was asked to speak at an event. I didn't really know what it entailed. And after I spoke, I was just blown away because I had always been looking for something that I could gravitate to when I retired from the game. Mm-hmm. And automatically the magnetism was there.
Let's talk about after that speech and stuff that you all got connected. Chris, what was it like when Eddie came to you and said, hey, I want to do more than just speak at this one event with you all?
It was very interesting that day because while we were up talking about Helping Hands for Single Moms, Eddie was sitting at the speaker's table thinking, this is my organization. When he got up and shared his story and what his mom meant to him, I'm sitting there thinking, we've got to get Eddie Johnson on board. And so that day, him and I made an agreement to meet. And from that, Eddie Johnson and Friends, the fundraiser was launched. And we actually just had our 10th anniversary last year, and he's raised $2 million to help single moms go to college.
That's amazing. Eddie, when you got started, what were some of your goals when you got connected with Chris and Helping Hands for Single Mom? We all have these high expectations and stuff, but realistically, and where you are these 10 years later, what are you so proud of during this time?
Well, yeah, I had some experience in regards to, being in organizations. I had a program that was called Accept the Challenge, where I took kids out of the homes of maybe a lot of single moms and watched them because they had a high ability to drop out of school. And so I had Carl Hayden in South Mountain. And so over the years, I think we had about 10 years, we developed a class in those schools to try to keep those kids in class and in school. But we would take them on field trips. We would spend a lot of time with them and all of that. And so for me, my whole goal is always to give back. So that was easy. I knew it would be successful because based on what I saw from Chris and what he was doing, I knew it would be successful. So I had no issue with it at all in that regard. And my whole viewpoint of this is women are the strongest creatures on the face of the earth. And if I can do anything to help them achieve their goals and become the heroes in their home, especially when they're raising kids by themselves, to me, that's a home run. That is a true home run. And because I saw my mom struggle. I saw her not be able to go to school. I saw her wanting to be an artist, but she couldn't go because she was working a 9-to-5 job, getting up at 3 a.m, taking care of 7 kids. And so that was always my mindset. So I knew it would have success. And as quickly as we did, probably not. But people in this city, and what Chris is trying to do. And so my wife and I, Joy, we're definitely on board with it.
I love that. One of the quotes I read from your mom, Eddie, was, he was always a good kid. And that's hard I'm just a mom to two, and I have help. And I know that that's like a biggest compliment any mom could hear. Working with that and seeing what your mom, went through and stuff like that. How did that help shape and develop you into the man that you are today?
Well, look, sometimes, you need to have obviously some kind of fallback in your life in order to realize how hard you have to work to become successful.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't change anything. I grew up in one of the worst housing projects in the country. I was always, confronted by gangs. I had to navigate my way to school, different routes every day, in fear that I would get robbed or jumped on. And to me, you don't want anybody to have to go through that. But when I look back on my life and navigating those pitfalls and understanding how to communicate with people, I talked my way out of situations numerous times. It has helped me as an adult.
Yeah.
And you talk to most people that have gone through tough times in their life, they obviously will tell you that, right? And so for me, I wouldn't have it any other way. I think it's shaped me as a person. It's made me cognizant of the struggles of other people. And that's why I want to give back. That's what makes me happy. Someone once told me, they said, hey, there's no U-Haul behind a hearse, Eddie.
I like
you can't
that.
take it with you. And so because of that, I want to give back as much as I can because, I'm a little bit selfish in that way. I want people to remember me. Like, I don't want to leave here and people don't know who the heck I was. I want to leave stuff behind. And I think that's what Chris is doing. And that's what everybody associated with Helping Hands is doing.
I love that. And, that kind of follows up with Chris. You got to pick anything you wanted. That challenge in 2001 is anything you wanted to give back to the community. Why do you think that message for helping these single moms was literally on the corner of the street for you that day compared to everything else that you probably had going through your mind at the time?
Well, it just took off. I mean, the very first mom we had in our program was a single mom. She worked part-time, and she would drop her son off at a preschool and then take her other younger daughter to her job for 6 hours a day. She didn't have a car, and then she walked home. And nobody in her family had ever been to college. She was a second-generation immigrant from Mexico. And nobody from her family had ever even envisioned education. And when we saw Sylvia, her self-esteem just skyrocketed. When she went to college and discovered that she could do college-level work, we watched her grow and grow. She became a school teacher, and today's been teaching now, I think, like 12 or 15 years. But when I realized, Sylvia, we had to talk her into going to college. But when I saw the impact on her life, I had other things going with Habitat for Humanity, which is a great organization, and other things. I knew I wanted to help single moms go to college because education empowers people.
And you mentioned at the beginning, Chris, it's $5,000 scholarship. That doesn't sound like a lot to many people, but that $5,000 seriously changed that person's entire life, gave them the opportunity to believe in themselves, better their lives. It's full circle when you do that because then that person wants to continue giving back, to their community in that sense. So it's hard to understand when you go down this road of you have so many opportunities for helping hands with single moms. How did you focus in on we're going to do education? Because that's really what the next step to success in life can be to help them get out of this circle, of working multiple jobs in a low-income family.
Well, as I thought about what could we do to help single moms get ahead, the idea of what about a college degree? Isn't that the best avenue to self-sufficiency? And so I began to knock on doors with the city of Phoenix and foundations and just say, hey, I've got this idea to help single moms go to college. Is anybody doing it? And I kept getting the same response. Not that I know of, but somebody really should be. And we spent the next few years with a pilot project just learning, what do you need? We had 3 or 4 families. What do you need to go to college?
Yeah.
And that's where we learned financial aid, which our scholarships are unrestricted financial aid, fix my car when it breaks, go to the dentist when I have a cavity. I need a community. And so we developed our award-winning program around those years.
It's what we take for granted. I mean, I can take those for granted sometimes. Having a card, just being able to call the dentist or any doctor's appointment and go and not worry about how I'm going to pay that bill. You know, I had education. Now you know, my parents helped me with education. I had to take out loans on myself. But to me, that taught me the power of personal determination, you know, kind of stuff. So I understand that feeling of, I did this, you know, I worked hard to do that. And so much of that has to do with the upcoming event that we're having of Eddie's weekend. So Eddie, this is year 10 or year 11 that we're doing, because it started in 2014, I believe.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris knows it, but yeah, I think it is the 10th year, right, Chris, coming up?
No, this will be 11. Last year was our
11. This is 11.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what can we expect? It's kicking off. We're going to I'm so involved in this. I'm just including myself in it too, Eddie. There is a poker tournament at Talking Stick Resort at the Poker Room on Thursday, then golf, then the gala. So tell me all about what we can expect, a fun-filled weekend.
Yeah, it's grown like crazy. You know, it first started years ago. We were just in the ballroom. We were in the, I think, the foyer of America West Arena at the time.
Okay. Chris is laughing. He's like, yep.
We had baskets in there and all of that. And we moved around the city. We've been everywhere. And I told Chris a number of years ago, I said, look, I want to add stuff to this, and I want to make it a weekend. And it seemed good on paper. You know, we didn't know if it could work, but it has. And so over the years, I've been able to add different things. So the poker tournament is huge. It's on a Thursday night. I encourage people to come because they get a chance to really network with the celebrities, get a chance to put a bounty on their head and knock them out of the poker game. It's a nice purse for them individually. They can donate part of what they win back. It's a beautiful poker room. They just opened it up a couple of months ago. It's one of the largest poker rooms on the West Coast. And so that part is going to be great. That's Thursday night. Friday is the golf tournament. It's a scramble, celebrity tournament. Talking Stick golf course is one of the best in the city. And so we're going to have a great time with that. And then Sunday is Shawn Marion's roast. We've roasted somebody, I think, over the last 3 or 4 years. I went first. Jim McMahon went second, I believe, then Tom Chambers. So Shawn Marion is coming up. And we have a lot of fun. It's a tremendous night. You get a chance to raise a lot of money for Helping Hands, and that's what it's all about. And so we'll have a lot of video celebrities that's going to send video Shawn. We have yet, but we will get them, and they'll be great. So I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be fun.
I'm so glad, because I was about to ask, I was like, have you had your turn yet? But that's fair. You started. I think that's the right way to go.
No, I went first. I was the first one, and they had their fun. They did a job on it.
Eddie kept slumping lower and lower in the chair where he was sitting as they pounded on him.
I love it. Well, I cannot wait to hear it, and I will absolutely be there for this year's, event. I have to say, the only thing I'm good at with poker is losing all my money. This might be a good cause to actually attend a poker tournament. Not really good at winning it, but I'm really good at losing it. So I'll see what I can do. And I've told everyone my best golf game is my outfit. Outside of that, I'm not your kind of gal. But to each their own. Let's talk about when you raise these funds and stuff like that. Do they just stay here in Phoenix, or are they just for the Valley? How does that kind of work to support our own?
Yes, our site in Dallas is a separate 501c3. So we share the same name and the same web page, but we and the same mission, but our finances are separate. So everything raised last year was over $500,000.
Wow.
And everything raised this year, we have over a $1 million budget for specifically scholarships and services to moms. And you can imagine Eddie's raising about half of those dollars.
That's great. Eddie, putting your name to good use besides just on the court. I love that. And, you know, that goes to what you were saying. You want to leave a mark on this world, on this community, and you're choosing how to leave that mark rather than it being chosen for you based off of your, you know, first career, because I'm considering this a second one for you. And I think that speaks volume to who you are as a character and how, you know, of course, I'm going to go back to your mom, what she taught you and how she raised you as well, you know, where we get that influence from as a child.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to make, you know, I've had my success in life, and I just love to see people have success. I drive a Tesla. I remember going into a Tesla dealership, and this young lady was next to me, and she kept staring, and finally figured out, you know, okay, she knows me. And she looks at me and she comes over and she says, "Just thank you so much. You just don't know how being in Helping Hands really helped me." And she was sitting in a car that was more expensive than mine.
Oh my gosh. So she wasn't even looking at you about being an NBA player. She was looking at you for what you did for her as Helping Hands with single moms. Wow.
She knew. Yeah, she knew. She knew. I mean, obviously who I was, and I didn't recognize her. And it was just, it blew me away. I mean, that's what I love. I had a number of kids over the years come up to me that hugged me and said, you know, if it wasn't for you, I probably would have dropped out of school. And now I'm a doctor or I'm a pilot. I mean, it's just amazing just what you can do to help somebody and what they can turn into. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks it's just you're a product of your environment. No, you're not. Like, if everybody's given the same exact chance as everyone else, they can have success. And I have lived that dream in regards to the people that I have helped over the years.
And I think that says it starts with someone just believing in you. You know, so many of those kids and those moms just never had anyone to believe in them, to make their dreams want to come true, to tell them that their dreams are reality. You know, and that's so much of what Helping Hands does, is just give them that belief that they've never had anyone give them. And look where they're at now. Now they're going to save your life. You know, Chris and Eddie, they're going to be your doctors. They're going to fly you around, you know, all because of the opportunity that you didn't like, that's so little and to you, but such a positive forever change in their life, you know.
We'll help 140 single moms this year. And over 100 of them will be nursing students. That's our number one scholarship. And I tell people, if you get sick and go to a hospital, one of our 200 plus nurses might be waiting on you, caring for you in that hospital.
Isn't that fantastic? I love that. You know, that's so much of why I got into what I did too, is to give back and bring awareness to all the amazing people and places and events that we do in this community. We have so much here. We are very fortunate, but we also have so many people that give back from what they have. And I think that speaks volumes to this community and how we support one another. And it just is full circle in that. So thank you both for all that you do to make this a better place for all of us, because like you said, Eddie, we all deserve a chance. You know, that's all these people need. Well, I have all of the information on the in the episode, so go click on it and find out more how you can help support helpinghandsforsinglemoms.org is the website. If you cannot attend the fun-filled event starting at October 17th, 18th, and 19th, then please donate your time, monetary funds, whatever you can do. It is all staying here. And also, Chris is always, he's very easy to reach, by the way. So his email is all over the website. And who doesn't want to go see a bunch of NBA players just roasting on each other? Get your giggles ready. I know I'm going to have to go see the Botox lady again because I'm going to have more wrinkles after watching this roast. I'm just sure.
Yeah. And look, we'll have Cardinal players, ex-Diamondback players there as well. It's always a fun-filled weekend.
I love it because that to me just like, it makes y'all just so relatable, you know, like, oh, we see you on the TV, we hear you on the, you know, announcers and stuff like that. But I love that friendship level that with you guys. And so I'm very much looking forward to it. My husband's excited to come with me. He doesn't get to go to a lot of work events with me. So he's like, can I come? Can I please come? It's like, you can come with me. So we will be there with bells on, with our pocketbooks wide open. Because like I said, I just won't play poker. I'll just give the money away right away is what I'll do. All right. Well, thank you both so much. Eddie, I'll let you get back to your day. Chris, you know, congratulations on this idea that came to you. And I don't know, have you ever imagined it being this big and this prominent, but you found your purpose. Congratulations and thank you for all you do, both of you. And we will look forward to seeing you in a few weeks at the event.
Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you very much, Alicia.
Have a great one. When it comes to protecting you, your family, and all your assets, you need to have someone that you can trust. And that's Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. Jeremy Mueller has lived in Scottsdale his whole life. How can anyone else know your needs more than someone who's been here and seen it all? Jeremy and his team are always ranked in the top % at State Farm. He cares, he's knowledgeable, and most importantly, he's always available. Don't believe me? Give him a call at 480-515-5223 or find him at jeremymueller.com. Well, don't forget to go enjoy this amazing weekend starting October 17th, 18th, and 19th, the Helping Hands for Single Moms weekend fundraiser. Everything is happening at Talking Stick Resort, so it's not far from us at all. You can go buy individualized tickets for a certain day or go to all three. And either way, just try to get involved because when we give back to our community, we give back to ourselves and everyone wins. Also going on this week for all you foodie lovers out there, it's Arizona Restaurant Week happening from September 20th through the 29th. Some of our favorite restaurants are giving us an opportunity to try some of their most popular or brand new plates this season. So be sure to click on the link in the description of this episode. It'll take you right there so you can make your reservations and decide which new place you might try every single night. Because what else is that for, right? For all you gardeners out there, the Home and Garden Show is happening at Westworld. It's the largest show of its kind, September 27th through 29th. It's happening from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There are vendors, events, pet adoptions, and workshops to teach you all these new skills. Have a wonderful week, Scottsdale. Keep vibing, and I'll see you around town.